Annie Bartell, nice to meet
Okay,
you.
we're recording. Yay.
Ready?
So, who would like the talking stick?
You got it, Peter.
Yeah, Peter.
Well, there's lots of changes, but you've got to ask me if you have questions.
Well, I had a very interesting experience last night,
Okay.
and went through a very extremely dark episode, kind of a dark night of the soul thing. I actually was thinking about committing suicide if I could find a convenient, unmessy way to do it. And that is totally unlike me. I've never had that thought before. And yet this morning, I have been able to wake up with a newfound reliance on the magnificence of my own quantum self. So that
Yay.
being said,
Hi, Diana.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Diana.
Hi, Diane.
Hi, Erie, Jonathan.
Hi, Diana.
Hi, Diana. Hi, Wendy.
Christina. Hi, Cynthia. Hi, Sunny.
Hi, everybody.
Cynthia, what precipitated this? Do you know?
What happened, Cynthia?
Well, like I said, I woke up this morning with a real
morning.
wonderfully calm, positive magnificence, realizing my own magnificence. And I think that I wanted to ask Peter his thoughts on the quote unquote dark night of the soul experience and how that plays into the quantum field.
It's very simple. You, for whatever reason, you reached more for quantum strength than you ever have. So it's a personal best.
Great. Is that only achievable through going through that massive amount of emotional pain?
Yeah, you can also do it through death.
Oh, well, we don't want to go there.
Well,
Uh-oh.
I almost did this week, and it was the closest call I've ever had.
Thank you,
And-
Peter.
Hector.
Really bad. Really
I
bad.
can totally relate.
Hi, Hector.
Hello.
We
Hi,
are
Hector.
really going through some
Hello.
strong challenges.
Yes.
The
But tell us
You
more,
know-
Jan.
quantum is no joke. For example, there is a love with a vibration that has nothing to do with quantum. Yet one of you I'm looking at right now was using it totally incorrectly. Quantum love goes with balance, and then it allows you to add love and allows you to add positivity. But without balance, to begin, you're using your consciousness. You're delaying. You're using thought wrong. You're using brain wrong. You're making complete errors. So, hi, Wendy.
Hi, Peter.
I win.
Wendy.
If you want to be zero errors, which all quantum is, you never use your mind, your thought, your consciousness, and your brain, except if you're talking to somebody else that doesn't know the difference. It's that simple. It's your choice, but the consequences are very simple. Quantum has nothing to do unless you want to be in pre-quantum. Now, it's a great company, 7.5 billion, but it's wrong. I mean, it's really that simple. So what Cynthia Rose shared with us, she had a personal best. She had a tug of war between pre-quantum and quantum. And she's on the call. And she used words that are quantum. So
Very.
Cynthia, what precipitated this evening? What specifically led up to this?
I don't recall any specific details that triggered this. All I know is that my fears all of a sudden in the middle of the night were just enormously amplified in such a way that I didn't want to handle them. I wanted to go somewhere else and be somewhere else, get me out of here, you know? And like I say, I kind of toyed with the thought of, you know, suicide, of leaving here. But I couldn't think of a non-messy, you know, way to get that done. So I was able to go ahead and calm myself and then finally drift off to sleep. And when I woke up this morning, it was just a glorious difference. But I can't think of anything that specifically triggered that episode. Pre-quantum, I'll say, was I clearing the mass collective consciousness? Was I undergoing through a process of that? You know, I don't know. I mean, that certainly is pre-quantum in terms of what I know now. But that whole experience in and of itself, as Peter indicated, was a pre-quantum moment. I don't know any other way to state that quantum won.
you know, for those that don't remember, Cynthia Rose runs a lab in Arkansas. And so she knows all those tricks. That's part of her profession. And so it's tough. And you either reach for quantum strength or you jump back in the dryer. It's that simple.
Cynthia,
And
I was definitely in the dryer last night, no doubt about that.
if you reach for quantum strength, that's a quantum thing. If you want to jump back in the dryer, that's a pre-quantum thing.
last night was a new moon at 11:08 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I find that I have a lot of trouble on the days leading up to a new moon. They tend to be very introspective, and that's kind of when depression sometimes gets the better of me. So I wonder, Cynthia, if you were impacted a little bit just by that lunar cycle as well.
Sure, and I completely agree with that, and that's part of the pre-quantum thought of carrying the burdens of the collective consciousness, of the new moon triggering extreme emotionality. You know, those are all pre-quantum ideas that many of us are familiar with, and I certainly agree that that's probably, you know, quote unquote, what happened. However, the quantumness that I am, you know, has won the day. So I'm really, really glad about that. But I totally agree with you about the new moon. Totally.
Just so you know, Christina's knowledge of astrology rivals is very similar to Ed's. It's very, very high. So it's just a good thing to know.
Wonderful.
Peter,
So
everybody welcome Carolyn Wagner. She's joining our call first time here. Yay, Carolyn.
Peter, you remember Carolyn, you met Carolyn when we were at one of the meet and greets? That's
Oh,
our dear friend that you met when we were by Garden of the Gods.
yes.
Yes.
Years ago, yes.
Yes.
Welcome, Carolyn.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And we have another one, Annie Bartel. I haven't met her before.
Yes,
She
welcome.
was also in the-
Annie.
Hi,
Welcome, Annie.
Oh my God.
hi, Annie.
Nice to see all these beautiful faces.
Annie.
So how many total, Nuri, do we have?
Oh, on the call, we have 27.
Wow,
Uh,
that's by far a record.
Yeah, no, it's not. We got to 30 last call.
Wow. Way to go, team.
Hey, team. And Nancy is back. Hello, Nancy.
Hi, Carolyn.
Hello.
AQ team.
Oh, there's Carolyn. Yes.
And Peter, we'll have one new one. We'll just leave it as a surprise next week. Okay.
Good. Next week is the anniversary of our initial gathering at Diana's. Right
Yeah.
before Thanksgiving.
And
Yay.
yay. And tomorrow, Peter, is the 6-year mark at Harry's also.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
6 years of quantum love.
Yep, there are 46 of us there.
They're all coming back slowly, it looks like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Peter, when you say balance, love, and positivity, the love is quantum love you're referring to?
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
See, you
That's
can't-
different from the vibrational love and the pure mature love, which are pre-quantum.
Correct. The love, it came in super cycle 200, vibrational love. So we had that for the last 200 super cycles of 14,500 total super cycles. So it's pre-quantum, one, and two, it's quite new. I mean, 200 as a percent of 14,500 is really a low percentage.
This quantum love, which is a derivative of balance, did not manifest until November 16th, 2014. Is that what it is?
Well, remember our quantum love is the 1,000th truth.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was validated at Harry's in November of 14.
Yes.
So that's different also.
So that's different from what you said, balance, love, positivity?
Yeah,
Quantum,
because that's the truth. And the others are threes. But if you start mixing the threes, you're going to make errors because they're different. So the threes, it's balance, which gives love, which gives positivity. 1, 2, 3. And you can't have, if you're not balancing, you're not doing love or you're not doing positivity. You may think you are, but that's thought, right? So you've automatically put yourself thought, mind, brain, and conscious. And in one word, electrical. In another word, delay. And Judy helped me by pointing out that during that few days where I was using all caps, I was shouting. And she's right. You know, if you use social media, but it's such a major error. We didn't have a chance of getting to 0 errors.
Can I ask the question again? I'm a bit not clear about quantum love. So quantum love is a truth. It's the 1000 truth.
Exactly.
So quantum love is different from when you say the threes: balance, love, positivity.
Yes.
Okay.
Because quantum love is the truth, is something you don't violate. But with everything, the first new we had to balance it. So we knew stuff. And then we had to start balancing things. And once we got past the first 5,000 supercycles, that generated love and positivity. So it's the truths kind of come after the actions. The actions are the threes. So we're always balancing, always. Anything that's new, any new energy, we balance it. And then as we have gone into where we are right now, we not only balance it, but we're always quantum love and we're always quantum positivity. And then because it's so important, we have the truth of quantum love. So, and if you weren't there, Judy, but the 46 of us at Harry's, most of us commented. And the comment was, never experienced love like this. Almost every one of us did that. It was just amazing. And our gift, one of our gifts to the planet, and then the 1,000 universes, is that there's nothing we don't balance. There's nothing. And balance, as you extend it into the current 14,500 supercycles, it creates love, quantum love, and it creates positivity, quantum positivity. And neither of them have vibrations. And when you go into and talk with pre-quantum people, which I do, they're clueless. They don't understand anything that goes further than consciousness. They're just clueless. We started, we were ready to start at Dinah's just before Thanksgiving of 15. There were 10 of us. And now we're bigger than that. But it's very crystal clear. It's very precise. And it's nothing to be casual about. It's everything to use all the time. So who would like, Judy, do you have any more questions?
No, so this love that you put under threes, the love came from balance.
Yes,
And it is so important that it became one of the truths, 1,000 truths.
correct. But it's different. The truth is different than the act. The act is know, K-N-O-W, new, everything new. Everything new in any of your lives is balanced. And now that we've expanded, balance also includes love and positivity. So it's all an act. It all has to do with act. Now, quantum love is so important that it's also truth. It's because quantum love and quantum positivity, if there were another truth, it would be quantum positivity. But it isn't really necessary because quantum love does it. You can't be loving and not be positive. It's just impossible. So quantum is very, very efficient, also known as simple.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Does that help, Judy?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
The difference between act and truth. I understand.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly it.
Hey, Peter, you mentioned that before we have love, we need to have balance, right?
Correct.
Okay. And I've been thinking on that the reason why that happens, if we go to the concept of the aspect of love, of quantum love, of accepting and allowing, then for you to accept and allow, that must be after you balance the situation. So that's the dependency. If you want to experience love at the level of quantum love, which is a love beyond mind, beyond consciousness.
And
You
beyond vibration.
Exactly. You accept because there's no reason, there's no logic behind that. You know, quantum love is beyond all of those things. Then you accept it. But before you accept it, you have to balance the situation that you have in front of you. That's for sharing.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Hector.
You're welcome.
So it's very simple, yet it's profoundly important and it's profoundly different. Do you remember what we did at ANTS? Conscious water. See, you couldn't make part of creation water without it becoming conscious. It's really quantum water. We didn't even know about quantum at ANTS. It was 2014 where we made it conscious water, but we're really making it quantum water. And then what did we do the next month? We had another meet and greet, and it was at Harry's. There were 46 of us. And that was quantum love. That was the final truth. So we did quantum water in October of 14. We did quantum love the next month. we started teaching at Diana's almost 5 years ago to the weekend, or one weekend early. And here we are 5 years later, almost 5 years later, and look where we are. 10 was our objective, to have 10 by right now.
Wasn't
By
that,
winter solstice 2020. Go ahead, Wendy.
wasn't that 6 years because 14 to 2020?
We didn't know anything about quantum in 2014.
Yeah.
We were still laying groundwork.
Oh, so it was 5 years.
Correct.
Okay. Great.
Yeah. Diana's,
Those two events, they solidified me into being a regular listener.
interesting.
And
Well, your timing was perfect.
And the 41 tones, I listened to those as well, and they helped me to develop visualization. I didn't have that before.
Interesting. My monthly bill to give those tones out after developing them went to $3,000 a month, over 3,000 a month. So I developed them. It was 41, and then I gifted them. And even for myself, the early use of those tones was, they hurt.
Yeah, they're kind of hard to listen to, but they really did help me because before that I had been brainwashed by former life beliefs, and they really helped to dissolve all of that and put in place, the healing that I needed.
Looking back from today, Wendy, back when we started at Diana's, it's almost exactly 5 years. It will be next Sunday when we meet. And we've come a long way since then. That's where we really started. And then quantum strength, we had that available as of June 1st, 2016. And that wasn't fully tested until February 25th, 2019. And then winter solstice is shaping up as our first step where youthing will become evident. And that's the entire spectrum with all the events.
Yuri,
Can you say a little more about that for all the people that are new that really don't know what that means? Please.
Which one, Diana?
About just that solstice is going to be a big event, and you mentioned youth thing, but it's there's a lot more to it as well. I'm just saying, can you just clarify a little bit more about what makes that? Because in quantum, there really usually aren't events and there aren't dates and times. So this is very different. So we're all kind of like, wow, this is a big deal. So if you could just speak to that, please.
I will use the moment of winter solstice, 2020, so less than 2 months from now, to become young again. Now, I've chosen 33 years old because I love threes and I love 11s. And what is 3 times 11? 33. That's really high math, but it's all there is to it. And it fits in with other things, it fits in with when we ascended as Mayans. And it fits in with when you start something major, winter solstice, not summer, but winter. Because winter is the beginning of something new. And youthing is where you are all headed. Every one of you. No exceptions. I can tell that by looking at your eyes. Because remember, quantum is common through quantum entanglement. And once you reactivate your ability to see quantum entanglement, you see every quantum person in all 1,000 universes. And it's no big deal. You just see it. And where do you see it? Through the eyes. And what is it? It really is the 22 notes, signs, and the threes. It all boils down to that. And eventually, the truths, you just know them automatically because of the way they were developed. You don't even think about them. You just do them. So, Wendy, do you have anything else?
No, but thank you so much for doing all of this and putting the 41 tones out there for us and all of the sacrifices you've made. I really think that we all appreciate very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you, Peter.
Indeed, Peter, thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
I have a
Big
question
time.
have a question for Yuri Lee. In the video that you used to share in Facebook, there's one, yes, on the quantum love community. There is a video that you were sharing when we were at Harry, that we were seeing him. That was a group that stayed there the first day after everybody left. There was a group like maybe 13 people that stayed there. And we started seeing him and playing guitar and playing piano and dancing, having a lot of fun. I don't know if you remember that video. But from my point of view, what I felt is that that was the precise moment when the quantum love entered to us as a collective. So if you can get that video and you share with the group, so to see if you can feel the same thing that I felt at that time.
Well, quantum love as truth. Everybody was experiencing quantum love for the first time at Harry's. And practically everybody who commented on quantum love said they have never experienced love even anywhere near. So, and I mean, we covered a lot of ground at Harry's. And I mean, many of us met for the first time in this life. And we experienced the final truth, which was quantum love, the truth. Even more importantly than quantum love, the truth, is quantum love, the act, which requires knowing, new, balancing what is new, and then the knowing grows. So we grow. And we did that for 5,000 super cycles. That's all we did. There was one of us. So something would be new, we'd recognize it as new, and rather than ignore it, what did we do? We balanced it. That was 5,000 super cycles ago. What do we do now? We balance it. But we're so much more. And that's where love comes from. And it is also where positivity comes from. It's something we do now. We didn't do it then because we had no strength. We had no quantum strength. We didn't get quantum strength until February 25th, 2019. And many of us have forgotten to reach for it. We think from our past that it is birthright. It's something we all develop and we reach for it. It's not there. It's not a birthright. It's a growth right. So if you don't reach for it, you don't get it. And it is not necessarily easy to reach for it. Go back to what Cynthia shared with us. So now we're 28 participants.
Let me respond back to Hector just quickly. Okay, I don't use Facebook. I think somebody else shared the video that you're referring to. I might have the archive because I asked people to send me videos, pictures and things, and I may have it. So I'll look for it. Okay, Hector? But I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay,
It was such a loving experience and I treasure it so much.
Yeah, that is a nice feeling that is reflected in each one of the people that were there at that time in that video.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rory. So who would like to talk Beatstick?
So this, I hope I do. If anybody else wants to speak, but I wish to address this tug of war we are in, because we are all sharing that we are going through some wonderful times with no time, but also we are choosing to go through some very high and hard tests that we all need to achieve that level of clarity that you are sharing with us. And I really have to thank you, Peter, because your clarity is beyond what we need now. And we really need it, because we were so stuck in our old ways and our old views of the world and how to live this. We were, and sometimes I still feel stuck in there. And it's that difference, that contradiction from sometimes I feel I'm really quantum, and then something happens and we go and we fall down hard. But that's just another opportunity that our magnificence is, that's my idea, our magnificence is orchestrating to tell us, look, no matter how hard you may fall, you can still pick yourself up really quickly and really amazingly. But I do tell you, Peter, it's not always easy, because I have to relate with everybody else, and I have to say, I feel what you feel, because this is part of quantum. I feel everything. I feel everything. If I think of someone, I feel what they are feeling. I'm talking with someone from pre-quantum, the people that are around us, and that is very, very tough to deal with sometimes. And I'm glad we've got all these amazing tools, because it's what we need. It's what everybody is doing for everybody else, and it's so amazing. But yes, it's so hard sometimes. We were talking about the moon, the last moon today. In the morning, it was one of the most difficult mornings I ever had in my life. It was very, very tough. Very, very. And well, it is quantum that get us out of there. And it does sometimes so quickly that even our consciousness doesn't notice it, because we look back and we say, where did all those bad thoughts went to? Because they were here a minute ago and now they are not. And that's so special. Mm-hmm. But our mind has a way to make us forget that, even that, very, very quickly. Yes. And it's some hard tests we are going through. So congratulations to all of us, to all of you. And I'm just very happy to meet you and to have you in this journey. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, everybody, because we are there and we are here for each other and everybody else. So it's a big deal.
A lot of times this morning when I woke up, I realized it was a process of letting go. We read about letting go all the time, but to me, letting go is simply the act of balancing.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
There is another,
simply saying, yeah.
Another point is that we have to keep in mind that we are going through a process to get to a destination. Maybe 1 or 2 or 3 in this group has already gotten to the destination, which is quantum. And they are capable of not making any mistake. They are capable of having love for everything and everyone without judging, without blaming. They are capable of not being in the dryer. But meanwhile, you are in the process. It is normal that you feel the way that you are feeling. Now, what you need to keep in mind is not getting attached in the process. Use the tool that you are learning now so that you get to the destination in a loving way and a peaceful way without suffering. So enjoy life. Don't be feeling bad because you are still in the process.
Yes, absolutely. Constantly reaching for the quantum strength, right? And we've been doing that constantly all the time. Whenever, like Nuno says, sounds like we all are going through this process right now where all kinds of things happen and it's pretty chaotic, if you look outside, pre-quantum. And I'm finding myself constantly reaching for quantum strength too. Like I explained to you last conference call, I was constantly reaching for quantum strength all the time. And it continues on in my life daily. And I'm so glad that you're all sharing. We're all in it together and we are all learning to kind of like be good at, reaching for quantum strength. So yeah, congratulations to all of us. Thank you.
And we are really helping each other in real time. That is so amazing, but so hard for the consciousness, the brain, the mind to grasp it. So hard. But
don't say hard.
It is what it is.
The reality is the brain, mind, thought, and consciousness cannot process.
Oh, yeah.
They just can't do it. Many of you have been in a tug of war at camp or probably at camp. But a tug of war is exhausting. Absolutely. You use energy that you don't even know you have. That's what the tug of war is like. Well, you're all in a tug of war that is way beyond that. On one side of the rope is conscious thought, brain, mind. It's all electric, all of it. Not a mix, it's all electric. And on the other side is quantum. And quantum is something you're not familiar with. None of us is. But that's where we're returning to. Not something we're going to. It's something we're returning to. And what's gradually letting us return to our conscious thought, brain, mind, electrical. So it's electrical versus nothing. It's electrical versus quantum, because quantum doesn't have any vibration. It has approaches, it has techniques, but it doesn't have any electrical. Yet that's what you're all learning. And that's what you're all doing. And we're learning from each other. Sure, I'm acting as lightning rod, but if nobody responds, what good do you do?
Yay, team.
Yeah, zero. If you guys have done it, who has moved back over the quantum threshold? You guys.
Oh, speaking of, sorry.
Go ahead.
Speaking of that, could you please go through the last three? You put it on the quantum web page. The self-choice immediate 5 times, and thresholds. I can get the threshold and a little bit the other ones, but please, could you go please?
Yes.
Through that.
Immediately your fields increase 5-fold from 20 meters to 100. That's
okay.
5. Immediately you, so your field increases. So rather than having a narrow field of 20 meters, you have a much wider field of 100 meters. When multiple quantums get together, your field increases by 100. So rather than 100, you go to 1,000. And I said it wrong. Your
Yes.
field increases by trailing zero. So you get that. The quantum part, you have to go through the threshold, and spiritually you go and converting from electric to quantum, and then you've got that. So there's a second one.
It's the first one is self-choice, but now I get it. Yes, because when you related the other two with the threshold and the morphogenetic fields, I get you have to self-choose first to return to quantum, right?
Correct. Because in pre-quantum, you're not taking full responsibility for your life. It's a birth. There's no birth rate. We're back to 28 participants.
Sunny was able to get back on. She was having a problem. Yay, Sunny. She was having some technical difficulties. So Peter, I think it's important for people to understand intermediary difference of people that are in the divine, which is the same as pre-quantum, that they're looking outside themselves instead of taking responsibility for themselves, for their life, for their choices, for creating their reality.
Right.
And that's a big part of, of the problem and the confusion. So being in quantum is choosing to take that responsibility and not looking for God to save you or an authority or your boss or your parents. It's really being able to stand in your own power and understand that you're creating your own life, which is hugely different than what most people do.
So any questions about what Dinah is sharing? Because it's major.
It is major because as we achieve that,
It's Diana.
then
Diana.
hi, as we achieve that, other people see how we do it, and they will, get tired of their own frustrations and
Correct.
hopefully accept responsibility. I'm doing that silently with my children, adult children, and it's been wonderful. I don't have to say a word. They can just see by my actions. And that's been great.
Thank you, Diana.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
it's the silent treat.
Pardon me?
It's the silent treat.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes it's all we got. It's major.
So who else?
I have something I want to clarify. Is
Okay.
reaching for quantum, is that really a tool? Is it considered a tool?
No, it's part of your reality. It's part of returning to oneness. In a way, we're going from one, O-N-E, 3 letters, to oneness. So rather than just one, there's a multiple. But we're all doing the same thing we did when we were one. Except there are more of us doing it. And every one of us is equal, is special, is unique. Does that help, Nance?
Thank you.
Peter,
Yes.
it's Jan.
Hi, Jan.
I'm really using the analogy of the dryer a lot, and I've
Yes.
shared it with a lot of people, and everyone really appreciates it because it's such an easy picture, and it also helps us become quickly aware of when ego and spiritual ego are, you know, starting to flare up and cause chaos, you know, with other people, because when sometimes when people see your calmness and your positivity, they get disturbed, and so they want you to, you know, get agitated. And so when you just say, you know, I'm just stay out of the dryer, stay out of the dryer, get outside the dryer and look at the dryer, you know, it's a good tool. And I'm also thanking you for all the work you've done, because it feels like we are all really making so much expansion lately. And like Judy was bringing up about, you know, the quantum love, we're all really going there and recognizing that we can't be in our mind and our consciousness. And it's just a whole new system. And I just have really used quantum strength a lot this week. It's been a quantum strength time. It's been a real systems buster week.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Thanks.
And
Thank you.
when we were growing up as a family of three, we used to call it frog in the blender. So Christina, yeah, she's smiling now, but she told me just recently that she likes the dryer analogy much better than frog in the blender.
Yeah. Awful picture.
So there's progress there also. There's a better terminology.
Yeah. It's been amazing. And remembering quantum water a lot more recently also. I don't know, it's winter around here. It's getting to be winter and it's dry. And so putting conscious water into the environment has been a real helpful tool.
Yes, yes. And the simple point is we couldn't have blood if we didn't have water.
Right.
It's plain and simple. And DNA and RNA and ice for a body, and water to drink and swim in, and air to breathe, and plasma to have DNA and RNA, and then creation. You can't have creation without water.
Right.
So that's why it's so important.
Can I take that a little deeper, Peter?
Please.
Okay. Dr. Emoto, as we know, took pictures of water crystals with words on them like love or hate, and showed the difference between the two. And when I was listening to your talk right now about water, I could see it in depth. about what our words, our quantum words, do for us in our bodies. So I think that's to me, it's like a flower that's growing and blooming inside us with our quantum words, with the water in our bodies. Oh, I'm getting chills. Woo.
That's a good analogy, Dinah. Thank you. Mudo did so much when we were pre-quantum, getting us ready. Just, we're like flowers. We're like beauty. What's heart? What are the last 3 letters of heart? Art, A-R-T. That's really cool. What are the last 4 letters of heart? Or the first
Earth.
here.
Yeah.
What if you take the H and move it from earth to the back to the front? What do you have?
Heart.
Exactly. So it's all about heart, but it takes water, it takes ice, it takes air, it takes DNA and RNA, and it's a fundamental part of creation. Carol, be happy. We are delighted that you're joining us. Thank you.
Thank you. And Peter, we are over an hour now. So.
Okay. Any last minute questions? There's next weekend, and next weekend we're beyond 5 years. It's a big deal. Yeah.
Wow.
I just want to thank everybody for sharing really deeply today. I mean, it was, very deep, powerful call. And because of everyone sharing and because we are all connected and in quantum entanglement, it's like everything that you go through and you share, you've done it for all of us. So thank you. Thank you to keep keeping on and doing the hard work and choosing love and choosing quantum and positivity and balance. And I mean, we're doing great things. And Peter, we are so, hearts are very filled and thankful for everything that you do to support us each day, and that we can all be in this together and help others, which is so important.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you, Diana.
And today is a very good example of that because we have 3 new people on the call.
I know. It's
so good to see you, Annie. It's been
it's wonderful.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we had set 10 as our minimum by winter solstice. That was not shared with my personality, but it is shared with my knowing. And now we're so close, less than 2 months away. And we're ready. It's winter solstice. It's the perfect day of 365 or 366. Every 4th year, except gets confusing. But every 4th year you have the leap year, except on November 1000. Then you don't have a leap year. And then when you go to the atomic clock, you have to add a couple seconds every 1,000 years also. So we're following all of those protocols because what is our experience? Our experience is based on 1,000 universes, and every single one of them is different. There is no, well, it's just like such a, that's stupid. Everyone's different. otherwise not experiment. And experiment and experience go together. So we do lots of experiments and find out that they don't work. So we stop. But if it works, then we continue.
Practice.
Yeah, the word practice.
That's perfect.
What did,
Thank you, Peter.
What does Alex say on her emails? She says practice,
Balance, practice, balance.
practice. So if we don't practice in the house, how do we know it works or not? We don't. It's that simple. And if it doesn't work, we stop it and try something else. And we do that 1,000 times in parallel. That's why we have 1,000 universes. What happens if we need more? Well, go to 10,000. But right now, we don't need it. But we'll do it if we need it. So it's very fluid, it's very perfect. And if there's any way to make it better, we'll do it. It's not there are no limitations. There is balance. Period. So, anything else?
Any update on the GCR? Is there an update on the GCR RV? Anything changing?
They just don't, they're so, the answer is yes, and it's meaningless. You're ready. I'm ready. We're all quantum dumb is ready. It hasn't happened yet. That's the readiness, right?
No times and dates.
Pardon me?
No times, no dates.
Correct. Ashtar. No
In
new,
the now.
no flukes,
Right.
no date. So it'll happen. It has
When
to,
it happens. Right.
because we can't develop our skills fast enough to not continue with some kind of money. Eventually, we won't need money because our skills will be broad and deep,
And we'll have more technology as well.
and we'll have more technology.
I love your beautiful hat, Sonny.
Oh, thank you, Hector. I love you and all of you, all of us.
Oh, you are
Aren't
so
we
beautiful,
magnificent?
Sonny.
Oh, we all are.
So
We
good to
are.
see you,
All so
Sunny.
beautifully unique.
Mhm.
Love you, Sunny. Thank you.
Thank you. Back to you 1,000 times.
Thank you.
Yes.
So we'll see you all next Sunday.
Yes, I
See you
want
next Sunday.
Bye.
Yes.
Bye,
Thank you.
precious ones.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Wow.
Bye,
you.
Jen. Bye, Ed.
Bye.
Bye, Ed.
Bye, everybody.
There you go.
Love.
Thank
Quantum
you.
love.
Good to see you.
Everyone.
Alex.
Thank you so much.
Look at
Thank
everybody.
you.
Wow.